It is late April 2026. I'm telling you that to let you know that this is a completely new episode. Just spent the past 15 episodes repurposing content from the vault. Today I've got something all new for you, and I want to tell you why it is that I decided to do a best of series and some things that I've learned that maybe you can also apply in your business right now. This is episode 267 of Commercial Real Estate Leadership. My name is Darren. I'm your host. I'm here to help you lead better, grow faster, and stress less. And I have been leveraging existing content from the vault of more than 250 episodes of this podcast. And I did it for a few reasons, and I want to get into that now. But one of the things I want to tell you off the top is that you don't always need to be producing new things from scratch every single time. You don't need to reinvent the wheel when it's already been created. And one of the lessons that I took from repurposing some of the podcast episodes over the past few months, podcast episodes which have performed just as well, or if not even better than some of my more recent, completely new episodes, a takeaway that I've got from that is stuff that's worked before can work again. And I've started doing that with my LinkedIn content as well. I'm still posting every day, but I'm also putting a little bit of spend behind some of the posts which I think have already been proven to resonate with my ICP. And I'm just putting that in front of more people, right? This is proven content, and it's a strategy that you can do whether you're on LinkedIn or Instagram. If you believe it's good content, or you've got some proof in terms of the rate of engagement that you've got on a post, but the algorithm's not really supporting you by getting in front of more people, well, you can just put a little bit of spend behind that post and then get it in front of more people. And I think this is a worthy strategy to do, because as more and more people become content creators, organic reach is starting to fall, right? And I know that good content will make sure that your content is put in front of more people, but rather than fighting the algorithm by trying to go viral with increasingly maybe risky or overproduced content, or putting the time, money, and energy required to go pro when it comes to being a content creator, I believe a better approach for me and maybe for you would be just to put a small budget behind content that you believe you want to have more people see, because it has been proven to resonate with people who've already seen it, right? So something that's already worked with a smaller audience, or already worked once, that you know is appropriate, you can just decide to get it in front of more people. Just like I did with past episodes of the podcast, people who were listening 100, 150 episodes ago, apart from my most loyal and rusted on listeners, hello if that's you, probably haven't heard this content before. So repurposing it isn't lazy, it's really just leverage. This is the same principle that you can apply not just to content, but into more practical ways in your business. When it comes to past proposals, they can become templates. Scripts that you've used can become scripts that you use for future campaigns and also for future prospecting. The systems that you've used in past projects and on past campaigns can be replicated, so you don't have to start from scratch every single time. And of course, if you're using data and information, stuff that's proven to work, to decide what it is that you'll reuse, then that's, again, not being lazy, it's being smart. It's working smarter rather than harder. I've got more to say about the use of AI, including the big switch from ChatGPT to Claude that I'm noticing, the use of AI agents as well, which I'm currently experimenting with and encouraging my clients to do as well. I'll have more to say about that in an upcoming episode, so stay tuned for that. Why, though, did I decide to do a series of episodes that I was repurposing past content? Well, the reason is that I needed to reduce my workload, and I wanted to do that without impacting service levels to existing clients and members over what I knew would be a very demanding period. So I was scheduled to go to hospital for some surgery in early February. I was expected to stay there for 5 nights, and there was going to be a significant recovery period. But what actually happened was I had to stay in there for 10 days for a continuous stretch. And then I had to go back for day surgery. And I ended up being in there for another 3 days. And I didn't expect that I would be off my feet, like literally on crutches for 5 weeks, but there I was. Plus I couldn't go to the gym. So that was like 10 or 11 weeks in total that my I think nervous system was really unregulated. Like I typically go to the gym 5 days a week. I've just started getting back in there this week. I go for a walk first thing every morning before grabbing coffee, and I couldn't do those basic things. And I know those basic things are things that help me get the energy that's required to do all the things that I do in this business. So even though I didn't know I'd be out for as long as I was, I had foreseen the impact of a disrupted routine, and I'd seen the cost that would have, and that I would need to make some changes in terms of what I was committing to during that time. So for me, a long stretch without exercise and a normal routine, it's not just an inconvenience. It impacts decision-making, nervous system, energy levels. And, this is probably true for you, right? If you're a business owner, your physical and mental state it's going to impact your ability to perform. So one of the highlights for me is the importance of protecting your routine with the same seriousness as you protect cash flow, profit, and revenue in your business. So I made those allowances based on what I knew was happening, but then life threw me some curveballs, as they typically do. On the home front, I'm a rent-vestor. If you know what a rent-vestor is, it's someone who rents the home that they live in, but has a portfolio of investment properties. And we got a notice to vacate from our landlord because they're selling their home. So we had to move house last month while I was still recovering. My daughter started primary school this year, so I already knew that was happening, and that was a big change in our routine and in our lives. I also had a couple of other things going on. I had to fire a residential property manager over this period. I had to give my commercial buyer's agent a real kick in the butt due to non-performance. And again, I'll share some information in a future episode about what the learnings can be from how they handled, as in those service providers handled the issues that I brought up. So I think it was good that I took steps to reduce pressure on me by not having to produce another 15 new episodes, because building buffers in your business before you need them, not when you're already underwater, is appropriate capacity planning. It's not just, planning for contingencies. And the biggest surprise that I got from all of this is that repurposing 15 past episodes didn't hurt the podcast. There are plenty of listeners who haven't been around for a long time. So the content that we played over the past 15 episodes would have been new for most of the audience. And for people who have been around for a while, the content that we repurposed was proven to be the most impactful based on people replaying the episode or how long of a duration they listened to the episode. So it probably wasn't top of mind for them. And there was, even if they did remember it, I'm sure it would have, or hopefully it would have served as a helpful reminder, right? So by the way, if you did listen to the episodes and you thought this is a rerun, but you're still with us, thank you for staying with us. And I even thought about the fact that maybe it is still relevant. Like, think about Seinfeld, The Simpsons. These are reruns that go on and on and on, and people watch them. I'm not saying I'm in that caliber of content creation, but certainly there is still utility and value that exists from consuming content more than once, right? And as I mentioned in one of the episode intros during this series, downloads went up, and they've settled a bit back since then over the 15 episodes, but certainly they've settled at a level which is higher than the average was before the start of this period. So by running some of the best content, we actually attracted new listeners. So by preparing for the fact that I knew that I was going to be going through a period where I'd be under a bit of strain and reducing some of the pressure, I actually ended up improving this asset in my business, which is the podcast, right? So life threw me some curveballs. Not only the things that I knew were happening, but the things that came along that I didn't think I was going to have to handle it. And it's your responsibility as a business owner, if you are one, to be able to absorb that. So none of the curveballs that were thrown at me that I mentioned before in terms of having to move house, in terms of some of the issues I was having with service providers, in terms of being in hospital for longer than I expected. And I'm fine, by the way. It was just precautionary that my surgeon wanted me to stay in there a little bit longer. Recovery is going well. I didn't know about these things, but I had prepared for them. And I think the question for you to consider as you're listening to this is, if you were suddenly out of action or had your capacity significantly restricted or constrained for a few weeks, like, what breaks in your business? And whatever the answer is, I think that's where your next investment in systems needs to go. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Just a bit of update of, why we did what we did, what's been going on in my world. And you know what? I've got plenty of ideas of content that I've been wanting to share with you, but I haven't been able to because I had this plan for 15 episodes. And, when I did the series at the start, I said we're going to have a special series of 15 episodes. That was almost by committing to do that, I was making sure that I kept my commitment to just step back a little bit and reduce the load on me in terms of content creation. But now I'm back and ready to bring you heaps more. So thank you for staying with us. Thank you for listening today, and I will speak to you soon.